So in this video, I will not show you how to write a resume step by step because I left a link for you on the resources that I think can help you more than I can on this video. So instead, what I will do is set you up for success because the mindset that you have when you write a resume is way more important than what is in the resume itself. If you have the right mindset, your resume will shine.
Promise?
I promise. Rule number one for writing a good resume is confidence. If you don't have confidence and you do not believe you have any skills, then your resume is just going to reflect that. Your resume has to tell the person who's potentially hiring you, hey, this is what I'm good at and this is what I bring to the table. As I mentioned, my first job was at a candy store when I was 16. And the only experience that I even remotely had for that job at the time was that I liked chocolate. That's it. But that's not what my resume said, I'm sure. I mean, I don't remember anymore because it's been so long. But I do remember my dad helping me draft my resume to make it look decent enough for me to get the job. When I went to college, I got into a research program. And mind you, I did not graduate with great grades from high school. Like, I don't even know how I made it to that research program because literally the only thing I had going for me was that I was a computational math major and we were very few in that program. That's it. Now, when I switched to biology and went to the University of Illinois, I got a job at a student dining and residential programs building without having literally any qualifications or experience to work there. Because the only work I had done at that point was the candy store and math research at a lab, where all I had to do was just sit on a computer and do some computer programming. But I still got the job, and not even at the entry level. I got on the second level. They had 3 positions. They had assistant, coordinator, and manager, and I got hired as a coordinator. And the only reason they didn't make me a manager was because I was still struggling with my English, but whatever. So how did I do that? Confidence. That was it. I know a lot of my students that cannot even tell me 5 things that they're good at. So if that's you, I want you to practice that literally every day. I want you to practice telling yourself what you're good at. It doesn't matter if it's not work related, because what I want you to achieve with this is not necessarily becoming a professional or finding out what, your potential as a professional. Instead, what I want you to practice is how to identify the things that you are good at. Just as simple as that. And if you're having a hard time doing this, you can always ask people that you trust and that you know they love you. Do not ask that one sarcastic friend that we all have, right? Because you know he's gonna come back with a snarky comment. Ask people who always see the best in you. This could be your parents, your favorite sibling, the pastor of your church, your therapist, your favorite teacher, anyone who you know has your best interest in mind and loves you and can see your strengths. Now, I want you to come up with at least 10 things that you're good at. Go ahead and write them down. And the next thing that we're gonna do is make them sound professional. For example, if a lot of people told you that you were funny, or you know that you're funny, don't write as a set of skills, I make people laugh, right? Instead, you can say something like personable with a great sense of humor. If people told you that you are a great friend, first of all, ask them why and ask them to be specific about it. And if their answer is something like you're a great listener and always like to help your friends, you can say something like, hey, I'm a great team player who enjoys helping other people succeed. Or even better, great customer service skills. Because if you think about it, a great customer service employee is simply somebody who makes you feel like a friend, who cares about you and want the best solution for your situation. That's it, right? That's all great customer service is. And they're also knowledgeable, of course, but that's what training is for. So don't worry about that for now. And even if you get quote unquote negative feedback, right, you can phrase it in a way that is actually professional and useful. For example, let's say you're a stickler for the rules, right? That can actually be a really good thing in a work environment because that just means that you have great work ethic and that you will not try to bend or break any rules of work. So learn to change that self-talk about yourself, and instead of using an adjective that puts you down, rephrase it with something that is actually useful. Don't say that you're stubborn, right? Say that you're strong-willed. Don't say that you're lazy. You can say that you love to find the simplest solution to a problem. Don't say that you're stupid or dumb, ever. Don't say that. Say that you are unaware or uneducated in that specific subject matter. And don't think of things as hard. Think of them as a challenge, because a challenge can be overcome. Did you hear the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, the other part of the resume that is probably going to stump you is experience. Employers want you to be 20 years old with 15 years of experience as a CEO of a company. How dare you not become a CEO at 5 years old? The truth is that you probably have way more experience than you think though. Do you cut the lawn at your house? Are you part of a team? Do you do any kind of volunteer work? Have you ever babysat or pet sat, even if it's just your little cousins or whatever? Are you good with computers? And I don't mean gaming 24/7. I mean, do you know how to use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, Excel, Adobe Photoshop? Can you do social media ads, shoot great photos or tape great videos, do video editing or some computer programming, whatever? We are all good at something. And some of these are technically skills, but have you ever done them for other people? Or have you ever gotten compliments from doing one of these things? That means that's probably something that you're good at.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, you know?
Trust me, we are all good at something. And if you think hard enough or even ask around, you will find that you have way more experience than you think. And if you truly come out with nothing that you have ever done for anyone, I want you to stop this video, go online and find a volunteering activity that you can sign up for right now. Because keep in mind that if you're going to get hired to do something, you first need to know what it is that you're good at. And you need to prove to your employer that you're good at it. And what better way to prove it than with experience? And keep in mind that actually not having experience can work in your favor because employers are looking for people who are trainable. Some people who have experience come to a job interview, for example, showing off, right? Like everything they know. And sometimes the way that they do things are completely different than how they do it at that company that they're interviewing at. So the fact that you have no prior training can mean that you are more flexible and more trainable than someone who already knows how to do that job. Now, another great thing that you can use is references, because sometimes that little push from a trusted adult can make the difference whether you get an interview or not. Great people to put as references are people who know you at a professional level and that have seen you in action, such as a teacher or a mentor or that person you mow the lawn for every weekend, right? It doesn't matter as long as they can vouch for you as a professional. And obviously, don't put your friends either, even if they're the captain of the team that you are in or whatever, just don't. All right, put your coach instead. All right. Lastly, I want to leave you with a couple of tips on how to look professional right off the bat when an employer picks up your resume. Because truth be told, they have to look at dozens and sometimes hundreds of resumes. So you want to make sure that yours stands out right away. Tip number 1, use a professional email address. This email address should only contain your name or initial or last name or first initial of the last name or something like that. And maybe 2 digits. Even if you think it's something innocent like softangel22@gmail.com, that is not a professional email, okay? So also, do not use your gaming name. I've seen that one too before. Stick to your name, last name, or any other combination of the sort. All right? Cool. Tip number 2, keep your social media professional as well. A lot of people have this belief that they are free to put whatever they want on social media simply because of freedom of speech. And I get it. There are some things that we feel very strongly about and that we feel like we need to voice our concern. That is perfectly okay. And granted, whatever you do in your personal life, it's no one's business and certainly not your future employer's business, right? However, the moment you put it on social media, it becomes everyone's business. So you cannot put something on social media and then expect not to be judged for it. Some people have lost their jobs over things they said or posted on social media. So please be mindful of that when you're looking for a job. If your social media page is negativity central, no one is gonna want to hire you because nobody wants to work with somebody who only spreads negativity. That is one very toxic environment to work in. So don't be that person, spread positivity instead. And last but not least, if you plan on handing over your resume in person, A, dress presentably, and B, print it on good paper. Spend the extra $1.50 that it costs to print on the thicker paper. This will make your resume stand out right away. Next, we will talk about how to rock that job interview that you got called in because your resume was awesome. Let's go.